Hello. Welcome back. I wanted to finish the video, the full story of Elden Ring and Shadow of the Earth Tree. I had about 20 minutes left, okay, on the last stream. I did not have enough time to finish it, so I'm gonna do it now. If you did not see the first part of the video, well, you can always look it up by yourself, or I made a little video as well with the first part. I'm gonna just go back a little bit just to remind me where we left off. Okay, so this is a full story of Elden Ring and Shadow of the Earth Tree explained by Needy the Noodle. It's a great video so far. It's very there's a lot of humor in it. It's like the subject is heavy, but he tells it in a more light way. But still, I'm not sure I understand, but at least now I have a better idea of the story of the game. So now I know what's going on, and when I fight Radon, there's this very important cutscene that left me confused, but now I understand what is happening in that specific cutscene.
May or may not have been consensual, while Mesmer was sent off to massacre the Hornsent people, which probably had it coming considering what they did to Marika's people back in the day.
Okay.
Then Godwyn was assassinated, Ranni became a doll, and Marika shattered the Elden Ring, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. The Shattering. With the Elden Ring shattered, some of the demigods got their hands on different pieces of it, and ultimately none could agree on who should be the Elden Lord and succeed whatever soulless creature Marika/Radagon was at this point. The demigods fought harder than the 11-year-olds competing to type first on every YouTube video. To start, Rykard, if you recall, Rennala and Radagon's son, was suddenly very against the Golden Order, or whatever was left of it, fighting wars to become the new Elden Lord by force. He would eventually retreat to his volcano manor and get eaten by a giant.
But where do I came in? Like, where? I don't think we're there yet when we come in the story.
Snake that whispered sweet nothings to him. His brother Radon, on the other hand, still appreciated the Golden Order and resided in Caelid, which was experiencing its own issues with scarlet rot outbreaks. His sister Ranni, now a literal doll, was just chilling in a tower with an ultimate plan to follow through on her fate, which was apparently to remove all control from the gods and allow the stars to determine things, and with her connection to the Astrological Society being Rennala's daughter, that kind of makes sense. But what about the other demigods? Well, early in the Shattering War, one of Godfrey's old descendants, Godfroy the Grafted, actually tried his hand at attacking Lindell, because he wanted to be Elden Lord, I guess, but he failed miserably and was imprisoned. And then his son, Godric the Grafted, ran like a coward, eventually making it over to Stormvale Castle, which...
Oh, okay. See, I was confused with the names. Now I understand. They're related.
He kind of took over. But while Godric is a meaningless character that nobody likes, Miquella and Malenia, during this period of the Shattering era, were doing some stuff to prepare for when the vow Miquella made way back when would eventually bear fruit. See, Miquella saw what happened to Godwyn, with his body having just been spread through the lands between and being capable of manifesting as more than just a body. Miquella also seemed to know at this point a funny, quirky little fact about the Realm of Shadow, which was that to actually enter now, like to go to the place yourself, you had to absolve yourself of your flesh, somehow basically doing what Ranni and Godwyn seem to do in their own ways. So Miquella came up with an idea, or a way to get to the Realm of Shadow, because of how important it was to his overall plan, to become a god and to have Radon be his consort. He first created something called the Halig Tree by taking an Erd Tree sapling, watering it with his own blood, and growing it into a
I've never been in that place. Have I ever been in that flower field? Because it looks super pretty and I have no memory of it.
gigantic, sprawling Eden of empathy, or so you'd think. This Halig Tree was actually a place for people to sort of chill out and escape from being hunted or chased down by the Golden Order, for example. This was a pretty popular place for the Albinurics, which were like these sort of artificial GMO creatures, kind of like the Godskin Apostles we talked about earlier. Miquella's sister, Malenia, also hung out here at the Halig Tree, where Miquella worked on methods to try and cure her scarlet rot with things like unalloyed gold, which helped to treat the disease to a degree. Miquella eventually had enough dilly-dallying around trying to save Malenia and decided, hey, it's time we do that thing I made the vow for like a long time ago, and Malenia was just like, sure. Miquella cocooned himself in the Halig Tree, which rid himself of his body, maybe, sort of, while making it have some usefulness to the tree and the people there, but while also detaching his soul to be able to get to the Shadow Realm. And around this time, he also sent Malenia to attack and fight Radon, I guess to the death over in Caelid. Scarlet Rot was pretty bad.
I did not know they fought. See, we are 33 minutes in the video, and I think I'm more confused than I was actually. I thought the Golden Order was confusing. This is worse.
Over there, and Melania was like, hey, so I'm gonna get you. And Radon was like, nuh-uh, you're disabled. And Melania was like, I'm gonna stab us both now. Then she was like, Mikola awaits thee, O promised consort. Before turning into a giant flower blossom and corrupting the out of Radon, destroying his cognition and stripping him of all but his body, his anorexic horse, and a now very tormented mind.
Radon became this way in the main game because of Melania? So the one in the DLC is like the original Radon. And this one is like a weaker version because of Melania, because of the rot.
Melania went to like a coma and was carried back to the Haligtree by one of her soldiers, and that was that. There are so many questions. Like, did Radon actually agree to be Mikola's consort? Which, if you don't know the definition, that means spouse, basically. So, did this dude actually consent to being in an incest relationship with his half-brother that also looked eternally like a young child, or was he manipulated? We know that Mikola can absolutely manipulate people to do his bidding by what happened next, which was that after Radon got completely obliterated and basically turned into a scarlet rot zombie, Mikola was like, alright, I need a temporary sugar daddy to do some other stuff so that Radon can ultimately be my real sugar daddy. Which takes us to Moog. Oh, poor Moog. You might not actually be the Moog Lester that we thought you were.
They just kept calling me the Moog Lester, but finally people know.
He keeps making stab at Dr. Disrespect, which I think is really, really funny.
Know the truth about the Michelester.
Remember this guy? This was one of Godfrey's sons that he had with Marika, one of the banished Omen twins that worshipped blood magic, and he happened to be perfect for manipulation because unlike his twin brother Morgoth, who defended the Golden Order with every fiber in his being, Moog was pretty vengeful seeming. At least he thought he had better ideas than what the Golden Order was all about. Regardless, Mikola seemingly manipulated Moog into taking Mikola's cocoon out of the Haligtree, placing it into Moog's own underground temple known as Moogwyn Palace, and guarding it. Why did Mikola want Moog to do this? Apparently, so that one day someone might come along and kill Moog, allowing Mikola to use Moog's demigod body, yoink it into the realm of shadows somehow, and pair it with Radon's soul, reviving him with a new body in the Shadow Realm.
Oh, okay, now I understand.
Yeah, it's like simple, right?
Oh.
If you're also so incredibly confused by this story that you've completely lost any hope that the writers were not snorting copious amounts of cocaine while coming up with this shit, I am right there with you. Mikola's plan to eventually revive Radon in the Shadow Realm, make him his Elden Lord, and become Radon's god in the process seemed to pretty much solely hinge on some random bozo coming up and slaughtering zombie Radon and Moog. This plan also very much kind of aligned with Marika's, or was similar to hers when she went through the process of shattering the Elden Ring. See, she wanted to allow the Tarnished to return to the Lands Between by extending grace to them, which, if you recall, she took away a long time ago. Were the Tarnished a backup? It kind of seems like they were, in case the whole not-so-golden order were to fall apart. So, it's time to meet you.
Okay, this is us. We're coming in.
Yes, you. You're Tarnished. Welcome back from being banished away and having your poor grace taken away from you. There are many like you who have returned to the Lands Between to seek the Elden Ring and become the new Elden Lord. Many who tried, all so far who have failed. But you'll be different, because this is a video game and no matter how many times you die, you will always try again. Sweatier than before, but don't let that get you down. Your character wakes up after being extended this grace and making some kind of travel to the Lands Between through a metaphorical or real fog. Just to be clear, there are other continents on the planet the Lands Between takes place on. And for example, if you choose the Samurai loadout when creating your Tarnish, you'll find that they come from the distant Land of Reeds. Whoever your character is though, they'll eventually stumble their way outside of a church-like building and take their first steps into the Lands Between.
I will always remember my first steps in the Land in Between.
Wait.
It's so epic.
Guided by your grace, you learn the layout of this place, meeting its inhabitants, a now shattered, lost, and broken people. You fight monsters, all kinds of creatures of strange origin, yet many of them give clues to the lost, rich, ancient history left behind. Eventually you fight bosses and start to make your presence known in this land, all the while being guided by Melina, the strange, confused spirit that seems to be left behind from the Gloam-Eyed Queen. After slaying dragons, shard bearers, and even demigods, at some point you have a choice to make. Go straight to where Marika and Radagon are conjoined, locked away in the Erd Tree, or pursue and hunt down Radon, the brain-rotted demigod, and eventually Moog, who at the time you understand to be a kidnapper. Your choice of pursuing the main quest or Mikola's is split depending on whether you want to engage with the DLC. This video of course covers said DLC, so let's talk about what happens when you do what Mikola was really banking on after all those years before you showed up. After fighting and slaying Radon, and seemingly after a certain happy little pot man named Alexander eats Radon's entire corpse, the demigod is then set free from his flesh and seemingly capable of existing in the realm of shadow. All I know is that you have to kill Radon. Afterwards, you find Moog, fight him
Oh, okay, so his spirit got out when Alexander ate his body? Huh.
in his palace and ultimately slay him. This is the point where one of Mikola's followers, Leda, tells you to go and touch Mikola's hand to be transported to the realm of shadow. Mikola yoinks Moog's corpse to go there himself, and this is where the DLC begins. So now you're here in the realm of shadow.
I will also always remember the first time I step into the DLC. I don't know how to explain it, but I had emotion. A little bit of goosebumps. It's so pretty when you enter.
In the shadow of the Erd Tree. If you're anything like me, you're really confused about what this place is, where it is, how any of this works. But nonetheless, let's carry on. Before you got here, Mikola actually got here first, even though you're responsible for letting him come here, I guess? So he must have done some stuff like really fast, just straight up like any percent speedrun the DLC. He abandoned his flesh of his old or his new body in the Shadow Realm, but not just his flesh. See, he abandoned parts of his mind, it seemed, including another individual entirely that was actually a part of Mikola. See, much like how Marika had another person inside her, that being Radagon, which she could split off and reform into seemingly at will, Mikola also had another component, that being a girl named Saint Trina. We don't know much about Saint Trina, other than the fact that she was a
Really?
girl and that she eventually blossomed into a flower creature entity once Mikola, in the process of leaving everything of himself behind, split her off of himself, leaving her to just hang out at the bottom of this gigantic hole in the Shadow Realm. So after
Have I been there? I feel like I've been there, but I just ran through this area.
he left Saint Trina, as well as his eyes, his arms, and basically every part of himself behind, once arriving in the Shadow Realm, he kind of just goes up to the Divine Gateway in this shadowy tower that Marika had initially locked behind long ago after becoming a god herself, and he just kind of waited. Or maybe that's when he started to use Moog's body to birth the new Radon by pairing his soul with the body. Now, okay, with all that set up, we can finally get to you, Tarnished. You explore this new place and find that Mikola has a lot of followers. A lot of these followers were charmed up until a certain point in the DLC before the charm was broken, including an NPC named Ansbach, who actually used to be a follower of Moog and claimed that he tried to free Moog from Mikola's charm only to be charmed himself. A good representation of this charm is how Mikola is capable of actually stealing your heart during the final boss fight, in which he grabs you and he promises a 1,000-year voyage guided by compassion. Then if he grabs you twice, instead of the game saying you died, it says heart stolen, and you pretty much die like normal, but you just like hang out. But we're gonna get into the boss fight later. So nonetheless, this realm of shadows is where you're introduced to a ton of new bosses, and you discover exactly what Mesmer did to this place before it was enshrouded in shadow with all this jet and everything. Except wait, Mesmer is still being a fire terrorist. Seems like he's really clinging on to his trauma from when Marika locked him
I
in the
have
Shadow
trauma
Realm,
from
because
fighting
he seemingly
Mesmer.
still depends on the idea of her, albeit horrible motherhood, for emotional support, like in one of his cutscenes.
No, Mother, forgive me.
You kill bosses, roll through this land like you're the main character, because you kind of are, and discover a bunch of lore. Lore which I've just spent definitely too many hours examining.
Me when I play this game.
Once you absolutely obliterate the local population, burn this shadow seal crap with the kindling you stole from Mesmer's corpse, and make your way through this castle found above the tortured city of Bellerat, you finally come face to face with the final boss of the DLC, young Radon, which is using Moog's body. He doesn't speak, he just tries to mercilessly kill you as fast as humanly possible. Oh, You probably steamrolled the
is
shit out of Radon
scary
in
as
phase 1, which
shit.
isn't too bad. But then, in his second phase, Mikla finally comes out, wrapping himself around Radon, and again, if he grabs you, he will make you fail the fight by stealing your heart. Bro really said, I'm gay. And you? I'm gay too, I think. Once you finally kill what may arguably be the most difficult boss fight in the game, you Elden Ring superfans can be the judge of that. We get
This is a
memory
little bit
from
of a
Mikla
spoiler, no?
revealing the vow he made way back when. And then, it's over. You just killed Mikla and let Radon finally have a fucking rest after everything he was just put through. And that's sort of it. If you decide to do the DLC and see everything through to the end, you're gonna kill Mikla, which, by the way, is
It's a little bit of a spoiler. Oh, it's
exactly
late.
what his banished other half, Saint Trina, suggested that you do, given that, like America seemed to find godhood to be a prison, detaching her mentally from her own values and humanity. The same was very likely to happen to Mikla if he actually, fully went through with this. But with the DLC cover,
Wait. Just making sure it's not a... Okay, it's the ending of the main game, not really the DLC. Okay, I can continue.
where do we go next? Well, the endings to the base game itself, of course, which we're gonna go over now.
Okay.
After you either skip the entire DLC or complete it and continue onward with the rest of the main game, what exactly do you do? Well, the issue you get to is that the Erd Tree, which houses America in it, is sealed off by some crazy Erd Tree thorns and stuff, so you need to burn it in order to get through the blockage. Thus, if you didn't already slay the fire giant that sits atop the snowy mountain guarding the big ol'
Full-blown spoiler. But I finished the main game. I'm Elden Lord, and my ending was Rani's ending, but I did a little bit of a spoiler after Guns of Radon death.
forward thing, then that's probably your next stop. Yes, this is the same dude that was eternally cursed by America to stay up here attending the flame. He is not a happy boy, not at all, and I definitely wasn't either while fighting him. Stupid f***ing
Yeah.
Come on, one more.
It took me 6 to 8 hours killing that guy.
Suck my nuts in your f***ing mouth! Swallow! Swallow, Nihil! Swallow! After killing the fire giant, Melina pops up and she's like, okay, so now I'm gonna light the whole last tree on fire and die, I guess. So she does, and without warning, she also teleports you to that ancient dragon city, Farum Azula, which I talked about like 30 minutes ago.
I
and
hated
just
this place.
dies in the process. She's gone. She's dead. The fire killed her. Melina is gone. Now, if you recall, this place that you just got teleported to, Farum Azula, got totally wrecked by a meteor and started floating and getting engulfed in a seemingly never-ending storm. Why did Melina teleport you here? Well, this was to assure that you were in the right place to carry on this sort of part of the deal where you're going to become Elden Lord. That's why she had just herself, was to kind of help you. And the reason you needed to come to Farum Azula to do that was because Destined Death was still sealed here, and what that meant is that gods couldn't be killed. Rewinding a bit back to when Godwyn was killed, Malekith, the furry guy which was responsible for not allowing anyone to get their hands on
Oh, so Malekith was responsible. Okay, that's why I had to kill him. Because I was very confused. Why this whole area led me to him, because I thought I was at the end of the game. Like, I kept asking, like, is this the end? I remember vividly, I have a clip of my first time entering Malekith area, and just before that I asked, is this the end, boss? Because I was like, it felt like the end, but no. Okay, but now I understand why I went there. Farum Azula and Alex is where Miyazaki went random BS go. Marika gave the rune of distant death from the Elden Ring to Malekith, so no one could really die in the lands between. I understand. Thank you, Dio. Now, see, this is... I needed that little piece of information.
and even a shard of his sword, which had Destined Death sealed in it.
That was a pretty cool fight,
his job. So he was like, I'm really angry, and I'm going to seal this sword literally inside of me, which he did way back when. So you explore Farum Azula and eventually
find Malekith. It took me a little bit of time, but not too long.
A really unnaturally acrobatic sausage man in some oddly concealed robes, tears them all off when his health bar reaches halfway, and then proceeds to probably fucking obliterate you.
Dude, I
played around.
Whenever you manage to kill him, though,
I played around the pillars.
Is then, I guess, just unsealed, and the gods can now be killed. Yippee! You head back to the Erd Tree, and after doing everything your tarnished mind may desire, you head inside for the final showdown. So you gotta fight Radagon, which is also America. You can see the Elden Ring like literally embedded inside of them. It's pretty cool. Once you slay Radagon, the cosmic being known as the Elden Beast, which if we rewind was the literal embodiment of order and thus the Elden Ring, just kind of slithers out of the void, and you know the drill. Once you kill the Elden Beast,
I believe the Elden Beast is the less cool boss you can fight in the whole game. It looks out of place, and I hated him. It's a very, very boring fight. I love fighting Radagon, but Elden Beast, bleh.
you're presented with some different endings, depending on a variety of choices you made along the way. I assume there is no ending relating to the Erdtree DLC, but let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Starting with the shittiest ending of them all, the Frenzied Flame ending. If you decide to get fingered by this weird three-fingered entity, you become a carrier of the Frenzied Flame, and Melina doesn't have to die when burning the Erdtree with the flame from the Giant's Forge. This Frenzied Flame thing, once you get your hands on the Elden Ring, means you just like
I heard it's
burn
really
everything.
rare,
Like you
this
just
ending.
kill everyone, it's all going, it's gone. Except Melina's still alive, and she's gonna hunt you down for all of eternity. And now do you see why the whole Glowmite Queen theory is very plausible? The next worst ending is the Age of Order, which is where you just kind of restore what the Golden Order was doing. And if you choose that one, that's kind of boring. The next ending you could choose is the Age of Despair, which requires going through a whole quest line with this guy named the Dung Eater, who just...
I haven't done any quests.
Okay, I don't think he actually eats dung. He just wants to spread a really bad virus around and make everyone have like warts and suffer and stuff, I guess.
By the way, I know of the mini endings because when I finished the game, I watched all of the cutscenes for every ending because I was curious.
Yeah. It's not, why would you do this? The default ending, on the other hand, while not being horrible, isn't particularly satisfying to me. America is still a god, presumably, so you're her Elden Lord, but is she really, like, anything, like, alive anymore? This just kind of sounds like a depressing ending. The second best ending I would suggest is the Age of the Duskborn, where you essentially just bring back and repair death into the Elden Ring configuration, which apparently wasn't already sorted out before, but otherwise nothing else about the order seems to really be changed. So it's kind of just, yeah. The last ending
There's
of
only
these
one
six,
good
and easily
ending,
the
and it's
best in
with
my
my
opinion,
wife.
is the Age of Stars. This one, which you can only get by completing Ronnie's quest, allows you to
By the way, thank you so much, chat, for making me do the quest line. So I had this ending at the end because I would have never known. It's literally because of you guys I managed to have the best ending and the whole quest line with Rani. And I have her sword because when you finish her quest line, you get the sword, and then this is a sword I'm actually using. So
Number
Shout
one,
out.
no longer be maidenless, an absolute win in my books. And number two, remove gods and all this crazy shit from the lands between, allowing people to rely on the stars for guidance, whatever that totally entails. Kind of just seems like she wants to not with people and leave them be, and I'm all for that. While Elden Ring is possibly the most lore-dense video game I will probably ever cover in my lifetime, a lot of that is due to the sheer scope of everything. So many characters, so many of them being gods or demigods, so many places, so many species. It's just a lot of stuff to cover, and I'm almost certain there's going to be even more exposition that is clarified about base game Elden Ring lore and primarily Shadow of the Erdtree lore moving forward past this video. But what do you guys think? Is the lore way too vague still? And did the DLC also just give you even more questions about Elden Ring's story than you had before?
yeah.
Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe for more like it in
Thank
the
you,
future.
Needy the Noodle.
And as always, I'll talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.
Amazing video. Amazing video. If you want to see the whole thing, all the information in here. That was a really nice video. This was part 2 because I've already seen 30 minutes of it and I had to watch the last 20. I understand a little bit more. It's still confusing as shit, but at least I understand the relationship between characters. I understand a little bit better the goal, and the DLC as well, because DLC is freaking confusing. It's so confusing. All right.